Ascension is accelerating and timelines are beginning to split. I'm going to show you what you need to know to stay on a positive timeline. Hi, I'm Saratoga Ocean, and I help people to spiritually awaken so they can enter a conscious path of ascension. And if you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe so you catch all my videos to guide you on your awakening journey. Ascension basically refers to a massive acceleration in planetary and human evolution. It usually happens at the end of an era of thousands of years in order to reset the evolutionary table, if you will, at a cosmic level. Now, I'm going to talk about ascension at a human level. As humans, we are given a very long time of free reign to evolve in whatever way we desire. And then at some point, with the help of our sun, which is our central star, along with other cosmic forces, those who are ready to move to a much higher level of consciousness are given the cosmic support to be able to do so. Now, right now, people are at all different levels of consciousness on this planet. Ascension is how the universe consolidates people and their consciousness at a vibrational level in order to organize the planet's next phase of development. So that's the basic nature of ascension. And right now, ascension and the entire process is accelerating yet again. Now, currently, the media has us all focused on fear, anger, and violence because that's just what they do. I mean, they are the purveyors of negativity. But here's what's interesting. A lot of people are suffering right now, that's for sure. But on the other hand, there are also a lot of people who are thriving. And in fact, some people are actually having their best year ever. So what does this mean? Why is there such a contrast in people's experiences? It's because we have likely entered a new, more accelerated phase of ascension. Now, the process of ascension produces a kind of vibrational separation. Here's an analogy for how this works. Imagine for a moment that you have a clear container of water. And in that water, there are multiple substances of different densities. Now, if you shake that container of water, all of those different substances are going to mix together. And that's kind of how our humanity has been for thousands of years at a cosmic level on this planet. We have a lot of different consciousnesses mixed together here on Earth and sharing the same space with each other. Now, back to the container of water example, if you let that container of water stand, the different substances are going to begin to separate according to their density levels. The substances that are the most dense will sink to the bottom, and the substances that are the least dense will rise to the top. And this is a perfect analogy for what happens during an ascension split. Now, in the water container example, the different substances in the end don't get to choose whether they end up at the top of the container or at the bottom. That's because there is a more powerful force of gravity that decides for them. It's really a matter of physics. And ascension works in a very similar way. In an ascension process, human beings begin to separate themselves experientially as a result of the density levels of their vibration and their energy. Those who have accumulated a lot of negative, dense energies and are attached to those energies will vibrationally stay at a lower density level that matches their vibration. And those humans who have made the effort to evolve and transmute those negative dense energies will start to become much lighter. Their energy will be lighter and higher, and they will move to a higher density level that matches their higher vibration. And just like the force of gravity determines where the substances in the water container end up, the powerful cosmic forces of ascension also determine where humans end up in accordance with their vibration. See, it's all a matter of physics. So, for example, if you've had a very negative life and you want to stay in a very negative vibration because you feel that it's justified, you will likely remain at a lower density level that matches that level of negativity. But on the other hand, let's say that you've had a negative life and you decide that you are just done with that experience. Let's say you decide that you are going to alchemize that negative energy and transmute your experiences into a positive state of learning and evolution. Now, in that case, you will have changed your vibrational trajectory. Instead of staying parked in that negative space because you feel justified, you will have made a conscious choice to evolve beyond it. And in that case, the energies of ascension will support you in your efforts to reach a higher vibration of experience. So let me show you what is happening now in this new phase of accelerated ascension. For a while, what was happening is that the timelines were beginning to split, but they still remained parallel. So they were separating, but they were still remaining in a parallel position to each other. This is where we started to see massive division beginning to develop among human beings. But now we're entering into a much more accelerated phase of ascension. And each of those timelines are beginning to enter different, more advanced trajectories. It sort of looks like this. You see, ascension starts to gather momentum as it goes forward, and you can even think of this as being similar to what happens when a plane is advancing on the runway at a faster and faster speed, and at some point it starts to lift off and its trajectory changes. It looks very similar to this diagram that I'm showing you now. So in this case, the negative is going to get more pronounced, but so is the positive if you are on a positive trajectory. Accelerated ascension means that both are going to be amplified. The dark forces of the controllers and the reptilians will work even harder to shut down the whole planet and keep us in a state of fear, anger, and violence. But the forces of light will also become more pronounced. The people who align with that trajectory will have opportunities to thrive and feel even better about their lives. Now, here's how you can approach all of this in your own life. Think of it like a balance scale. Let's imagine, just for the sake of illustration, that you experience 50% negative energy and 50% positive energy. If you want to shift to a more positive timeline, you need to shift the balance to a higher percentage of positive energy in your experience. You want to do whatever you can to shift more and more of your experience to a higher vibration of light and love. Now, there are a number of ways that you can do this. I always recommend that you start with a daily meditation practice. This will keep you centered in your heart and feeling much more in control of your experience. The next thing you want to do is to maintain a daily practice of gratitude. Find everything you can find to be grateful for in your life and then dwell on it. This will automatically raise your vibration to a much higher, happier level. Another thing you can do that is very important is to be true to yourself. Stop trying to please everyone if that's something you tend to do, and stop worrying about what other people think of you. You can be sensitive to the feelings of other people, but you don't have to compromise your own integrity about who you are in order to do so. Next, I highly recommend that you take the time to plan your life's path. See, if you don't take the time to set goals for manifesting the things in your life that you desire, along with things that will increase your level of happiness and fulfillment, then you risk being pushed into a more negative experience by default. Because remember that the controllers of this planet are doing everything in their power to prevent our ascension to a higher level of consciousness. They do this by keeping us in the lowest possible state of fear and anger, and by keeping us incredibly divided. So if you don't make your own effort for a different outcome, then by default, you risk falling into the many traps that they continue to set for us. Now, if you want some extra assistance with any of the things I just mentioned, I will put a link in the description with some resources that I have to offer that can help you along the way. Now, I also want to suggest that you do an overall assessment of your experience in life. Is your experience mostly positive, or does it lean a little too far over into negative territory? Wherever you feel positive energy, you want to nurture that experience and expand upon it. And wherever you feel negative in your life, that means that you have some inner work to do. It's time to face what some might call the shadow and come to terms with that experience. You have the power to transmute that negative energy and eliminate it once and for all. The most empowered way to do this is to ask yourself if you've had enough of that negative experience. Are you just tired of carrying it around? And are you tired of any negative past experiences continuing to define your present life? Imagine any negative past experiences as being like a suitcase full of something deeply unpleasant or painful. Maybe you feel like that suitcase is a part of your life now. Maybe you feel like you have spent years devotedly carrying it, no matter how hard it is to do so. You could feel so invested in holding on to that suitcase that you don't even want to put it down because it's literally become a part of your identity. But man, is it heavy. So if you have such a suitcase, and I think we all do to one degree or another, I want to invite you to put it down and take a fresh look at it. It's probably quite worn around the edges because it has traveled far with you on your journey. But now the universe is offering you a trade. It's saying, hey, you can trade that suitcase for something much better. See, that suitcase of negative experiences is weighing you down. It's holding you at a lower vibrational state. It's making your energy heavier and more dense. Kind of like the dense substances I talked about in that water container example that I used earlier. So you have an opportunity right now to set that suitcase down and say goodbye. You can thank it for accompanying you along the way, but tell it that your time together has come to an end. And this might involve an act of forgiveness on your part. Forgiveness could simply take on the form of realizing that you have gone as far as you can carrying this stuff around, and now you can't go any further with it. And it's time to make a choice. Standing before you is a beautiful white airliner with its doors wide open and beckoning you to come in for a journey to the stars. The flight attendant tells you that you will have everything you need on that plane. The only requirement to enter is that you cannot bring that suitcase full of negative past experiences with you. The flight attendant tells you that there is no need for such experiences where you are going. So you stand there for a moment and look down at the battered old suitcase that you have devoted much of your life to carrying around. And you realize that you are finished with that journey. Now it's time for a new journey of ascension. It's time to go to the next level. So you put the suitcase down and you notice that a beautiful angel has come to take the suitcase away and renovate those experiences back into light. Now you are free and you feel so much lighter. You are free to prepare yourself for ascension by planning a new timeline for yourself. And this new timeline will be a much happier one. This one will fill in the gaps where you formerly deprived yourself of good experiences because the old suitcase made it impossible. Now that you have released that old suitcase, you are free to create the life that you want. And the beautiful energy of cosmic ascension will support and assist you in the process. So I hope this video has inspired you to set your life on a beautiful new upward trajectory of light and love, along with the manifestation of a much happier life. And if you know anyone who is struggling and might benefit from watching this, please share this video with them. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell because I am here every Sunday, Tuesday, and Friday with new videos to support you in your awakening journey. With that, I'm sending you loads of love, light, and positive energy. I will see you in the next video. Namaste.